My name is Jerry Chang, and I'm a 16-year-old sophomore from John Burroughs School in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been playing piano, as you can see, since I was actually 4, so 12 years now, and I've been learning from my teacher, Miss Zina Eliashov, and I also take lessons from Sasha Starcevich, and so I'm very grateful to both of my teachers for such amazing guidance in my musical journey. So I'm going to be playing Beethoven's Third Concerto in C minor. I actually have a picture of Beethoven above my piano, so it's good inspiration for when I practice. But I wanted to share a little bit of background about the piece. So first, this concerto is arguably his first romantic concerto, which really it's one of the pieces that marks the transition from his classical style to a more romantic period style of music, which is so important in Beethoven's legacy. Also, this piece is in C minor, which is a really dark key. It can come with some really tragic characters or really, almost death-like moods. So that's also represented in some of Beethoven's other works, like the Pathetique Sonata or the very famous Symphony No. 5, which are also in C minor and feature similar characters, like very tragic and very dark. And for one last thing, I also wanted to share a kind of a fun story, a unique story about this concerto, and it's actually that on the premiere night of the concerto, Beethoven actually hadn't finished writing it. It was still a work in progress. And so when he performed it, he actually improvised the cadenza. And Beethoven's student, who was his page turner that night, everything was going fine, and then all the pages were just blank with a little bit of some scribbles that only Beethoven could understand. And the page turner didn't know what to do until Beethoven nodded at him to turn the pages, and then the show went really well. And so I thought that was a pretty unique story that really shows Beethoven's genius and his creativity when writing the pieces. And of course later he did compose a cadenza which he wrote down, and that's the one that I'm playing. So a little bit about why I chose this concerto. I chose this concerto because I really love the balance between the passion and the beauty in the piece. And so the overall, like I said before, it's in C minor, and overall the character is very stormy and very tragic. And the C minor is just, like I said, very dark key. However, there are also some really beautiful moments that are super delicate and soft and expressive. And hopefully, when I play, I'm able to bring those out well. And so I really admire how Beethoven wrote that balance between those two moods, which are almost opposite of each other. And in general, I also just love playing emotional pieces that also have beautiful melodies. And so this concerto is just really a perfect fit for that. And finally, a little bit about my concerto experience. Well, I've played some concertos with orchestras in the past, and they were all great experiences, but I've never played a concerto that's this dramatic and this powerful. And so I'm really looking forward to working with the orchestra, working with the amazing conductor and the wonderful musicians to give this piece the feeling that it needs. And so that was a little bit about the piece and a little bit about me. So hopefully you're looking forward to, and I really hope that you enjoy my performance, and I'm looking forward to playing it for everyone.
My name is Paul Crabb. I'm the artistic director of Prometheus, a professional vocal ensemble based here in Columbia, Missouri. We will perform with the Odyssey Chamber Orchestra on their upcoming annual Baroque Concert on April 5, 7 p.m. at the First Baptist Church. Prometheus is the professional wing of the Choral Arts Alliance of Missouri, also based here in Columbia. This organization offers from 5 years of age all the way through adult, with various levels for those who have much experience to those who maybe would like to get more experience singing choral music. We're pleased to combine with the Odyssey Chamber Orchestra for this upcoming concert, where we will do Cantata number 63 by Johann Sebastian Bach. And I'll talk just a bit more about that cantata later. But let me just give you a brief introduction to Prometheus, if you aren't familiar with this. We'll have 16 singers in this ensemble. They're coming from various parts of the country, from California, from Washington, from Florida. Many of them are located in the Midwest. Of the 16 singers, 11 of them are former University of Missouri students. So it's a great pleasure for me to make music with these people after they graduate and have an opportunity to work with them collaboratively on a project like this. The 5 singers coming with these 11 alumni, of course, are professional singers in various ensembles in the country, and at one point or another have sung with us or with singers who are alumni from the university. The cantata I've selected is number 63. It's Christen etzet diesen Tag. A literal interpretation or translation of this might be Christians etch this day or engrave this day. In other words, it's an important occasion. In this case, it is a Christmas-themed cantata. And it is important that Bach not only represented the text, but in this case, we think he was probably trying to show off just a bit because he was looking for a job yet again. I mean, it's hard for us to now, in retrospect, say, why was Johann Sebastian Bach looking for a job constantly? Well, he felt he didn't have the support, that people didn't recognize his talent. And we know that his final job in Leipzig, he was actually the third choice of the committee. The first 2 turned down the job, so they said, well, I guess we'll have to take Johann Sebastian Bach for our director of music at this church. Anyways, we think that he was trying to find a new job, and so this cantata of 30 minutes shows a lot of virtuosity, both in the orchestra and in the choir. And that's one of the reasons I chose it, is because we have these extraordinary musicians in the orchestra, these extraordinary musicians in the choir, and I thought, let's do something that gives them a chance to show what they can do. The other reason that attracted to me immediately was that the cantata has this orchestration of 4 trumpets, timpani, 3 oboes, bassoon, full set of strings, and of course organ in the continuo. So it has this festive sort of bright sound to it. Melodies, beautiful melodies that will, I think some of them will stick in your ear even after the first hearing. I know that sometimes when I study the score in the morning, I can't get those melodies out of my head. There are extraordinary sort of little twists and turns of the harmonies, just like Bach often does. You think you understand what he's going to say, and then he takes that and tweaks it a little bit and gives it a completely new sound. One of the things that I find fascinating is in the final movement. Bach, again, as I said, was showing off his skill. He has 3 different themes. Sometimes it appears in the orchestra, sometimes it appears in the choir. The first theme comes in and it's beautiful. Dun da dee da da dum ba da dee. Has that sort of joyful dancing for this exciting festive occasion of the Christian Christmas theme. The second theme comes in and it's dum ba dee da dee da. So you have this chromatic descending, and you're thinking, how in the world is that going to be a part of it? But there's that question in that character of that text. And then you finally get the third theme. Again, a little bit different character represented in text. And Bach says, yeah, those themes are great, but listen to this. I can put them all together at the same time. And he spreads those 3 themes among the different choir parts. Sometimes they're in the orchestra, not in the choir parts. Sometimes they're sung and played simultaneously. It's an amazing demonstration of his genius. The other thing I want to mention is that you have also this structure this balance and symmetry. He takes two bookends. The first movement and the last movement are these virtuosic full orchestra, full choir. And they are works of art in themselves. You have this first movement, they're each about 6 minutes long. The cantata, as I said, is about 28, 29 minutes. So you have this virtuosic opening, this virtuosic closing, these bookends. On the interior, that is the second movement, you have a solo recitative, and right before the final chorus, you have a solo recitative. And then in the middle of this musical sandwich, you have duet, recitative, and duet. So we have this first half up to the tenor recitative, and then a mirror image going back to the final movement. Now, do you notice that as you're listening to it? Maybe not. But there is, I think, a possibility that you will absorb this sort of balance and symmetry. I often say, if I walk into a Gothic cathedral, if I see a beautiful Kaufman Performance Arts Center in Kansas City, that I get this sort of gratification feeling of architecture, even though I can't tell you much about architecture. I do not get the same sort of reaction to the architecture when I walk into my local convenience store. So this possibility of sort of absorbing this aesthetic, even if we don't know exactly how to explain what just happened. And I think you'll get that sense of balance, of symmetry here. So please, if you have the opportunity to come hear this extraordinary concert, this is April 5, 7 p.m. at the First Baptist Church in Columbia, Missouri on East Broadway. I hope that you will come and enjoy it. I look forward to seeing you there, and I hope we have a chance to visit after, because as you might have been able to tell, I can't get enough of Bach, and I love talking to you after the concert if you have that opportunity. So we'll see you there.